this working? Yes. Hello. Everybody says that it's so pleasant to be here. It's not. But here I am. So, I'm making the artistic doctoral project, and I will tell you about that. In Finland, composing for guitar is a relatively young phenomenon. Before 1970s, classical guitar playing in Finland was founded on merely amateurial basis, and there was practically no demand for any contemporary repertoire with any modernistic way. Indeed, the catalogue of the Finnish Music Information Center, you will find less than 10 works written for guitar before 1970. It took the emergence of the first generation of young professional guitarists in 1970s to bring the valuation of the instrument on a level high enough to wake up professional composers properly to the possibilities of writing for guitar. It is worth mentioning that guitar was accepted as a subject in Sibelius Academy as late as in 1987. And the first guitarist graduated from Sibelius Academy in 1974. These young guitarists of the period started to collaborate with many of epoch's established composers and commissioned assiduously new pieces for guitar. This collaboration was very fruitful, and during 1970s, the total of 45 new pieces for guitar were composed. In 1970s, also the popularity of the guitar as a concert instrument reached its zenith point in Finland. During the decade, both the technical and artistic standards of the performances underwent an unprecedented qualitative leap. And this was, of course, a very important factor to convince composers to write for the instrument. The tradition of collaboration between performing guitarists and composers, started by this first generation of professional guitarists, has subsequently been followed by coming up generations, and the repertoire has continued to increase in exponential way. In the present day, the amount of the works in the catalogue of Finnish Music Information Center is already quite impressive. It counts something about 500 compositions by over 80 composers. Works for solo guitar, chamber music, and concertos are all abundantly represented in the catalogue. And in each category, at least in my opinion, you will find some works which fulfill even the highest international compositional standards. Okay. I will next tell you something about the topic of my doctoral project. Considering the total number of compositions in the repertoire, in the catalogue, it's obvious that I've had to make a noteworthy selection to choose the music for my 5 doctoral concerts. And the program finally selected represents much more my personal predilection than any objective cross-section of the Finnish guitar music repertoire. Since the very beginning, it was quite obvious for me that my main target will be the post-tonal modernistic sector of the repertoire, and that I will play only works written by professional composers. After the preliminary selection of the music to play, I decided to build up the programs of my concerts around 5 different themes, focusing each one on some specific musical idea. My desire was that in this way I would be able to present what in my personal opinion is the most exemplary collection of post-tonal modernistic compositions sought out from the remarkable body of the Finnish solo and chamber music repertoire. I left out the concertos for a merely practical reason. In my doctoral concert series, I also wanted to carry on the tradition of my older fellow guitarists by commissioning new works. And in my 5 doctoral concerts, I will premiere 6 new compositions. Next, something about my 5 concerts. I played my first doctoral concert in 2015, and the theme of the concert was guitar employed as a part of a macro instrument. And by macro instrument, I refer to a compositional aspiration to create a continuum of sounds between different instruments and vanish the particular tone of any single instrument in a whole. The theme of my second concert was the breakthrough of the guitar in 1970s and the birth of the first significant Finnish compositions. There I played, for example, the first large-scale solo work, which was Touching by Paavo Heinonen. The theme of my third concert was expressiveness, and there I performed music with strongly exposed expressive character. The program included, for example, Erik Bergman's Janus for violin and guitar and Heinz-Johanni Hoffmann's Hautnach for solo guitar, which are both compositions with announced, energetic, quite aggressive vibe. And as a pronounced contrast for this shamanistic zeal of these works, there was the quintet for guitar and string quartet by Per Henrik Nordtvedt. My fourth concert last year was dedicated entirely to Jukka Tiensu's music. And in this concert I performed most of his solo and chamber music production for guitar. Concerning the Finnish guitar repertoire, Jukka Tiensu is an outstanding figure. His production for guitar contains a total of 8 quite significant works. And among them there is a large-scale concerto for guitar and big symphony orchestra. Tiensu's guitar compositions express different compositional styles, and they offer an encompassing view to his whole career as a composer. The historical art of Tiensu's guitar works extends over 4 decades. In 1974, he was one of the first Finnish composers to write for guitar, and his last work, of course, By Now, for guitar, was written in 2016. My last concert will take place in autumn season 2020, and originally it was planned to be a recital, but now I have decided to make changes and bring some chamber music also in my last concert. In the core of the last concert, anyway, will be 2 solo pieces by Veli-Matti Puumala, a post-serial work written in 1991, Hailing Drums, and then the premiere of a new work. It will be nice to see how Puumala's way to write for guitar has changed in 30 years, if it has. We'll see. In my opinion, Hailing Drums is a truly fantastic piece, and it's kind of landmark in the Finnish solo guitar repertoire. During my doctoral studies, I have been studying composition with Jukka Tiensu, and in my last concert I will also perform one composition of my own, which will be a quartet for guitars. 2 words about my written thesis. It will consist in a performer's analysis of Jukka Tiensu's solo guitar composition Drum from 1889. In my opinion, one of the main characteristics of drum is its intertextual dimension, which is recurrently manifested by allusions to other musical styles. And the main target of my research is to study and examine by which means does the presence of the intertextual dimension affect and guide my own performance of the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyrki. Any questions for him?